Look, when it comes down to the game where, it's punch for punch pretty much the whole game. You look at the scoreline for quarter to quarter, 29, 25, 28, 25, 28, 26, 28, 27, 27, 28. Like, it's a highly competitive game. So we'll rue a couple of missed assignments during the course of that because those things all count. They accumulate, and that's why you're down 5 at the end of a game. I thought early, I didn't like our aggression, to be honest. I thought we didn't go and create ourselves second shots. We're a little bit better in the second, and we're certainly better in the second half. I thought we were a little dominant in that area. Look, disappointed in the fact that we've lost. Disappointed we haven't secured our playoff spot just yet. There's machinations there where, whether they're unlikely or not, they can happen. Where we miss, and it would have been nice to hold our own destiny in our own hands. But two pretty good basketball teams playing pretty solid basketball.
You mentioned that aggression. I think Allen Williams didn't score in the first half, but his second half, both ends defensively and offensively, it was huge for you guys. Did you have to say anything to him, or was it?
Oh, look, he got a couple of fouls there and had to take a little seat. No, we had to run some stuff for him, get him the ball in his hands, and then it got him flowing a little bit, and then he started creating a little bit off the offensive boards as well. And he's a pro and he's a competitor, and he would have been happy with his first quarter, so he doesn't need a whole lot of motivation. The thing with Allen is you just got to make sure that his focus is there, and it was certainly there tonight, and he was really good. Sometimes we've had a couple of games where he's had a rough first quarter, and that can bleed into a rough second quarter, but he was fantastic for the remaining 3.
Now, you talk about the machinations earlier. I mean, it's such an odd scenario not playing in the final round. How do you approach this? What do you make it not having a game?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. I got to sit down and try and do the math on who it's most likely to play, and from a coaching standpoint, we'll get our scouts together ready for a handful of teams. In regards to the guys on the track, firstly, we're getting fresh bodies is important for us. Hopefully we get Ryan back on the floor and we get a little bit of acclimatisation to having him back. It hasn't been too long, so that's a good thing. And just getting our bodies as fresh as possible without losing a little bit of the grit and grime that we've been able to develop during this period where we've had a lot of games, where I feel like the schedule, and the sudden death scenarios we've found ourselves in has built a little bit of steel in this team. I don't want that to diminish.
Mitch, is that the one advantage in a weird scenario that you do get a week off, you do qualify, and you do get players back, or is it a bit weird you want that continuity and you might lose stuff?
No, it sucks. I mean, we have 12 days between our next game, whatever it is. Like, that's...
historically that doesn't go well, and those layoffs are hard to come back off, and it's through no fault of our own. It's a tough scenario for us to be in.
Yeah. Do you just keep training this week?
For sure. Yeah. We'll marry it up with some rest as well.
Might go to the Goldie for a few days.
Trips.
Bali looks pretty cold at the moment.
No, look, it'll be, we'll sit down with our high performance staff as well and get the recommendations. There'll be a day off tomorrow with travelling, and we'll make sure there's a day off midweek as well, and then we'll see how it's looking for that. But we've got to keep these guys rolling.
32% from the 3 line as a team, is that something you'll be looking to work on come the play-in?
Yeah.
And Ruben and Owen were impressive without Ryan. How important was them to stand up tonight?
Really important. Without their contributions, it's not a really competitive game. But that's, we've found ourselves without Ryan a lot, and other guys in the backcourt we've found without them a lot throughout the course of the year. So it's not unusual for those guys to step into roles and be successful. And I thought they were both really good tonight.
Yeah, Simon, mate, just one from me. Look, you mentioned that your destiny's not in your own hands anymore. I just wanted to ask you, just your level of frustration, given the fact that you guys, more so than many other ball clubs, have been absolutely annihilated by injuries, particularly at inopportune times. And I know you're not going to use it as an excuse, but when whole, you've shown how impressive you could be. I mean, what are your thoughts on where the team could have been? And I know you don't want to talk about what ifs, but just the injuries and how frustrating it's been for you.
Firstly, g'day, Matty. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, look, it's always frustrating. you deal with, as a head coach, you're dealing with the players as well, so you're sharing in their frustration as well as your own. But at the end of the day, you can't dwell on that. Your focus has got to be the next guy who comes in. And look, it's been a great opportunity for, if we don't have those injuries earlier in the season and we get hamstrung with Rowdy missing for this game, maybe we don't get that performance out of a Foxwell or a Ruben Tarangi. So you've just got to use those situations as positively as you possibly can, as opportunities for the development of some younger guys and other formations. We're really finding a guy in Owen Foxwell who's found a role against the Sydney Kings, and without some of those players missing, maybe he doesn't sort of really shine like he has in the games that he's played against them. So I think it's been huge for a kid like his development. But yeah, look, I get pissed. Sometimes I'm sitting there at night going, geez, it'd be nice to have our squad. But at the end of the day, everyone goes through these periods, some more than others, but we've just got to stay positive. Hopefully we collect Rowdy back this week and we get a good week on the track. We'll try and get some competitive stuff for him to get his body ready for the rigours of playoff basketball if that should come our way.
And Mitch, just one from me, mate. Just with the culture that you guys have developed in a very short period of time, the amount of adversity you've gone through this season, and you're going to finish 15-13, so you're going to have a winning record regardless. What does that say about the culture that this group kind of has developed, not just this season, but probably over the last 4 years?
I think it's something we can take some positives from, but at the same time, Simon won't ever use missing 2 imports and Olympian as an excuse as to why we didn't maybe beat some teams that have got NBA, Australian level, EuroLeague kind of players. But it really does make it harder when teams will scout you a little bit differently. They'll press you more in the full court. Tassie did a great job of it. They pressed us because we knew we were down guys. And when I went to the bench, a lot of pressure came up on these young guys and we kind of threw it around like under 10s. And, you call a timeout and you try and get everyone to settle down a little bit. But it's just the inexperience. But these moments actually help us in situations like tonight. It's a big game. There's a lot of pressure. Yes, Melbourne United don't win. And maybe there's that 5% of, that's good for us. But job's not done. Where these guys now come into this, primed, battle tested, and with a good support crew around them in players and staff, where it's like they've been through the fire with other teams to now come out and perform in a enormous Kudos Bank Arena with a hungry, Sydney Kings. Like they come and play a standout game, from 2 guys who have been quiet for some of the season with lack of opportunity at times, but. Incredibly proud from a standpoint of a culture and an organisation. To see Romy, our owner here, courtside through Pride Week, wearing his Southeast Melbourne Phoenix Pride shirt, supporting us at the latter part of the year when it looked pretty doom and gloom for us. 2 weeks ago, everyone counted us out. I know all the tabloids were saying how much we sucked and we weren't going to make finals, but re-ink your pen and write a new headline because it's looking like we could potentially make it. So you just never know in this league, and it's still so up in the air with a lot of teams. But I'm proud of what we've done. Job's not done. I didn't think we played well defensively tonight, but we have a lot to play for, and it's not just ourselves. This week's been huge. Sydney did a great job of putting on an amazing Pride round, and I think we did a great job acknowledging Kent Lockhart tonight with the armbands on our jersey. Former NBL player out in the southeast. He's an absolute tough nut of a guy, and I think we played a pretty tough game tonight. And if that's any respect to his family and loved ones, then I think we've done him proud. But it's a sad time for basketball, but it's also a proud time as well. So lots to enjoy this season, lots to learn, but job's not done. We'll go and get this couple of weeks in Bali and go into this playoff game. So it should be good.
Thanks, mate.
Chris
Cranky, you've talked a fair bit about how you look forward to the matchups with Zabe. I know ultimately, I guess, winning or losing is what you are judged by, but you had a hell of a game tonight yourself. How did you see the battle?
It's a basketball game. He's a great player. I respect how he goes about it. He's a very strong, very talented athlete who can play both ends and does a great job of protecting the rim. And creating for his teammates to come out and have 10 dimes is very impressive. Not sure how many one dribble pull-ups get counted into those assists, but I wish I got those dimes. That'd be nice. I just think he's a talented player, and his teammates read him very well. I think him and Dejan have a very special relationship, and I think that's a big key to their success is the relationship of Cooks and Dejan. And they're tough to stop together because Dejan's been shooting the absolute skin off the ball this latter part of the year, and Cooks has been playing at a very high level. So it's nice to see him play 33 minutes tonight. Unfortunately, he gets fouled out towards the end of the game, and I say that as unfortunate because you want to play the best in crunch time, and you want the best to be on the floor. And some of these calls late in the game, a little bit tough. Sauce got stuck with one at the end, but you just want guys to be able to battle and, really, excuse my analogy, but you just want to put your balls on the line against someone and just be like, this is us. We're two men fighting, for this game and who's going to come out on top. And there's some personal battles and some personal pride sometimes, but sometimes you just want to be able to be let played, and you're not sure how the game's allowed to be played. So I think it's tough for some of these matchups. You guys talk about it. It's hard to play out. I've loved the battle this year. Finals is where it's gonna count. So hopefully we can get through this play-in stage, get to a semis, and go and play against each other in a nice 3 or 5 game series, and really test it out there some more. But credit to him, credit to his team, and to Chase and everyone here tonight for getting behind their team and getting them over the line.
Simon, just one last one from me. Chase has made it clear that he feels like Xavier's the runaway MVP. Is Mitch the MVP in your eyes?
Look, I think he's certainly had an incredibly consistent season, and he's probably done it for a number of years, and more so maybe than Xavier at this level. And sometimes when the new guy or the flavour of the month sort of rears its head, and everybody, basketball's a bit of an echo chamber, and guys seem to repeat themselves and others. You see the same guys on every TV show, on every radio podcast, this, that, and the other, and so they just keep hammering the same narrative out there a lot, and I think that's probably been sung at a pretty high volume. I think Creaky's definitely the best player in the league this year, and I think Bryce is probably second, but who knows. Xavier's had a wonderful season as well, and he's on the best team in the league, and out of any of those 3 guys, and you could throw Milton Doyle in there and some other names as well, you're going to have a worthy winner. I hope it's this guy, but I'm not there's only one trophy really that I want to focus on, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Cree's already said it, just with the passing of Kent Lockhart, on behalf of the South East Melbourne Phoenix, just to send some the love and condolences out to his family. Kent being a legend of the NBL back in the day at Eastside Melbourne Spectres, but also in his tenure with Dandenong and Sandringham and Kilsyth as well. He's really been a real great representative of basketball in the southeast for a long period of time, and it's a tragic death. We've lost some really good people the last few weeks in the NBL, and just tip my hat to his contribution to basketball in Australia.
Thank you very much.